Hello and welcome to the KnitMania channel. My name is Gretchen and I've been on a hiatus for almost exactly 2 months, and I've actually started recording a couple of times, but it's just been so overwhelming because so many things have happened, and good and bad, and I just didn't want a 3-hour podcast. I know you don't either. And so I just kind of was having such a hard time figuring out I need to do Vlogmas. And I think I did maybe 8 days, and just got totally overwhelmed because I was traveling to New Orleans, and I originally had thought I was going to take all my Advent stuff there and open it and do like this really cool Vlogmas in New Orleans, but it obviously didn't happen. I decided I just wanted to spend the time. I went with my daughter, and I just decided I wanted to spend the time with her and not stress and not worry about Vlogmas. So that's what I did. I'm glad that that's what I did. We had a fabulous time. I'll put some pictures at the end, so if you have any interest. I will say though, if you are a person that likes to travel, and if you are a person that likes food, you should go to New Orleans. It was a magical experience. We just hit it. We were there for about 7 days. My daughter was there for a conference. She's a scientist. And so I had quite a bit of free time by myself, but also we did tons of stuff together. It's hard to get a bad meal in New Orleans, and it's really easy to get a fabulous meal. So we tried everything we could get our hands on, from gumbo to jambalaya to po' boys to turtle soup. That was, I think, the most adventurous. And if you go to New Orleans and if you eat chicken, you must go to Willie Mae's Scotch House. It's kind of out in a totally different area than we went any other time. Treme, I think it's called. And it's won best chicken in the nation, like for a decade. It's so good. And lots of character too. It's fun. So that's my endorsement of New Orleans and Willie Mae's. Now I'm moving on. So that was the really great part of December. Christmas, son got COVID on the 23rd, so all of the family get-togethers that we had planned fell apart and caused lots of drama and trauma in the family. I guess I don't know what else to say. It was a hard time for all. So the end of December was difficult. We did obviously end up getting together. As a matter of fact, we just had our last get-together with the last part of the family that we couldn't see this past weekend. So it took, like an extra month. And then I was really, typically the beginning of the year is one of my very favorite times of the year. It's just like a refreshing, a renewing, love making goals, love challenging myself. But instead what I did is fell downstairs, gave myself a concussion, and broke my tailbone. And then after I was recovering from that, I got really sick and my asthma came on. So I am choosing to be excited about February, and I'm celebrating the Lunar New Year, which is today. That's my new year, because I refuse to let 2022 start out that bad. So I'm really excited. This is kind of what I'm thinking of as a transitional video. I am planning on podcasting or vlogging every 2 weeks. I think that makes more sense as a maker because I'll have more things to show. It'll be more interesting. And so kind of the first and the middle of the month are my plan. And so I will be doing mostly knitting, but I'm also going to add in a little bit as far as what's going on. I love to cook, so I'll probably be talking about that. I am obsessed with cookbooks, so I might be showing those and like sharing the recipes that I really have enjoyed. I actually, because when I was sick, I subscribed to HelloFresh, and I am shocked, like shocked at how good their food is. I'm also a little surprised that it isn't as easy as I thought it would be either. Like there is more prep involved with that. And so like I know that there's some subscription companies that you're just really dumping and sauteing or whatever, but they're making you chop and they're making you do multiple steps. But having said that, totally worth it. Had beef flautas yesterday. So good. I don't know why I just did that gesture. I don't like that. Sorry. Okay, so you might notice that I'm wearing something that's hand knit. So this is the ranunculus. Awkward getting up, showing. It's cropped, which is not something I ever do until now. So I started this at the end of December, and I started and ripped and started and ripped and started and ripped. I originally was going with 2 strands of mohair, and this is DK. So basically the complete opposite of what I started with is what I ended with. I have to talk about this wool. It is from Take Heart Farm, and they're a tiny little farm. They own 6 sheep, and this is from one sheep named Moose. And so the lady that I bought this from, she takes care of Moose, she shears Moose, she cards the wool, she dyes the wool, and then she spins the wool. So it's gone from Moose to her to me, which I think is super cool. I mean, that is what you call hyper local, right? Because yes, she is also local to me. I bought it at my local yarn store, Hands On Knitting, and they have a vendor fair every year. And so she was here, and I did buy way too much moose yarn. I bought 7 skeins. I don't know what I was thinking, that maybe I might knit a dress. I don't know. I mean, I was thinking like long summer cardigan or something, but obviously I live in Southern California. I don't want a DK of BFL wool in a big, huge sweater. I would never be able to wear it. So I used 3 skeins. I have 4 skeins left. And I am not going to want to knit anything else with this. So now I have 4 skeins that I have to figure out what to do with. I'm going to see if my daughter wants them. And if she doesn't, then I'll see if I can do a swap, if anybody likes it, or I guess gift it to somebody else. I do know myself, and I know like I enjoyed working with this yarn very much. You know, it's got that hand spun quality, so she does a really good job. It's not super variable like it can be, you know, depending on the spinner, but it's definitely not anything like machine spun wool. It's a different feel, and I really did enjoy doing it. It's actually made me want to spin, but that's a whole nother story for another day. But you know, having it in my hands for a month, I'm not going to want to have it in my hands for another big project. And having 4 skeins is a big project. So that's why that's going to have to go to somebody else at some point. So I'm not going to try to do like all the whips and finished objects and stuff that I have done in the past 2 months, but I do have a couple of things for January. So I did finish this. I started at the very end of December, and I finished at the very end of January 29th to be exact. And ranunculus is a ridiculously popular pattern on Ravelry. It has over 10,000 projects. I will link my project to the show notes. However, I will say that of the 10,000, there's like maybe 800 to 1,000 that are DK. This really is meant to be a lighter garment, fingering or even lace and mohair, that kind of feel, like a real flowy feel. So I will be knitting another one of these in one of those fabric weights. because it was a super fun knit. Like if you like the look, if you go onto Ravelry and like the look, I would highly recommend doing it. I did it at the beginning as a make along with hands-on knitting, and it was so fun. We met every day for the week after Christmas, in between Christmas and New Year's, on Zoom for an hour. And even though I didn't get that much accomplished because I kept changing my mind on what yarn I wanted to use, it was super fun seeing the all the different yarns. Some people did finish in the week. You know, some people, there was one person that had already knit 2 or 3 because it's so fun. So that's my endorsement for Ranunculus. And then I have another finished object, and this is also was a make along with my membership. So I have a local yarn store that I love, 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 go to all the time. And actually I have a big announcement about that later on. And then I also have my membership that I belong to that I love, love, love. I am a blessed woman. So it's called Love and Stitches, and it is done by Knitty Natty. Ostley, her actual name is Natalie. And she is on YouTube. She's on Instagram. And she also has a membership. And we do Zooms. Like they have Zooms every day. So you can just pop in whenever you want. And so in January, the make along was for cables. And I have never done cables. I've never done, well, I've tried cables. I've never had a finished object of cables. So I do, this is the Multnomah, I'm saying it wrong, Falls hat. Again, I'll link it down below. And it is also a super fun, quick, very easy for cables project. Our make along had so many that got finished. And a lot of people put a pom-pom on the top, at least half. And it's really cute with a pom-pom too. I don't know that I'm a pom-pom person. I think I will probably become a pom-pom person eventually. I've never even been a hat person at all. I don't think I look great in hats, but I am determined to change that. I just have to figure out how to style it. So, and then the Hexie Puffs are back. Hello, hello little Hexie Puffs. If you have been watching for a while, you will know that this is part of a eventual blanket, and you have to make like 300, well, you can make as many as you want, but I think the pattern was 350, somewhere right around there. And I was doing one a week pretty well for probably 15 weeks. So I probably have about 15, so I have a ways to go. But I've decided that I'm gonna put a little project bag in my car and a little project bag in my husband's truck that has supplies for Hexie Puffs. And so, because this weekend we were out, and it's like we were supposed to go to like just Best Buy. And then, you know, my husband talks to his dad, and it's like, let's go to our local brewery, Hangar 24, because we love to hang out there with them. And I had no knitting. So I hate that feeling. I hate just sitting and having nothing to do. So yeah, that's my plan for the Hexies. Hopefully I'll get one a week. I would like to get one a week done, but we'll see. I'm not going to stress out too much about that. Not going to talk too much about acquiring, other than I did get this. I don't know if it's going to show up, but it is the deepest but still brightest purple. And I got that because my son, Brody, who's 19, decided he really wanted a hat. And so he came to the yarn store. I am like a big proponent of like, I am happy to make you something, but it better be something you love. So, you know, pick out the pattern, pick out the yarn, and then I'll make it. And so, yeah, he chose this yarn. He does love purple. Hopefully, yeah, that looks like it's showing up pretty well. This is from Peekaboo Yarns, which is a local dyer in our area, and it's called Dark Imperial, and it's fingering 400 yards. So I haven't picked out the pattern, but that will definitely get started this this month. I would have actually started it, but I never remember to snag him to get a pattern. And I think I might just actually do the pattern. I think I might do something somewhat basic for him. Like the ones that he has are pretty much just, you know, a basic beanie. So I think that's what I'll do. Maybe I can get him a tag. He'd like that. So that is not a work in progress yet, but a plan in progress. Is that a thing? Can I make that a thing? So my works in progress, I've got the habitation throw. This is by Helen Stewart, and I'm using the Advent. And again, I guess I'm getting pickier, or maybe just more comfortable in making my own decisions versus following a pattern exactly. But I had started this. This is Fingering Weight from Advent. It's Pixie Yarns Advent. Gorgeous. And it called for 10 grams of fingering, and it's corner to corner. So it'll be a square, and it's like 40 inches by 40. Well, so there were a couple of issues for me. Number one, the Pixie Yarns Advent is a 20 gram. So I would only have been using half of it, which I wasn't thrilled with because I'm like, still have 24 colors, and yeah. So I wasn't thrilled with that. And then also, as a throw, it just felt too light for me. So I decided, I ripped it out and decided to hold double. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm holding the fingering double, which then equals a DK weight. And then because it's double, then it is using all 20 grams. So I'm very happy with my decision to do that. The only thing that's a little bit of a pain is you've got your 20 grams skein, and you have to roll it into 2 balls in order to, you know, knit it holding double. But I have like a little scale, and it's not that big of a deal. I hand wind my 20 gram skeins anyway. So I just have my scale by me, and I wind a ball until it gets to 10 grams, and then I cut it and wind the other one. So no biggie. Let's see, what is my next one? My next one is, I have been trying to dive into my hibernating whip stash and get some things done. A pair of socks that I started in June of 2021, when Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady was doing the summer sock camp. So that's why it's in that bag. And it says summer, and it's February. And, you know, I made a mistake here. I just hadn't done a heel in a different color, and obviously that shouldn't have come across the front. So then I was doing this one, and I was like, okay, I need to copy that just so that they look the same, and then realized after I had cut and tied off the things that actually when I did the error was when I was done with the heel, and I didn't think that was the case. And so I did this stripe like before I started the heel flap. So I haven't decided if this one's going to have 2 stripes, one at the top and one at the bottom, or I don't think so. I think I'm just going to do this one stripe, and then this one I will do this, when I get to the end of the heel, I'll do it correctly. So it'll just be 1 stripe in 2 different places. You know, I mean, last year was definitely a learning year for me. I knit I think I knit 9 pair of socks. And I've learned a lot. And they're not always perfect, but you know what? They go on my feet or somebody else's feet. They don't have to be perfect. I really think that knitting has been pretty good for my tendencies towards perfectionism. This is my like 4th year knitting. And at the beginning, I mean, I just ripped everything out constantly. And I have gotten to the point now where I am not doing that. So yay for me. This is another Advent project. I'm definitely going to be working on this. So I started this in December. Okay. Like the plan, not my plan, but the plan for the Advent, it's Legacy Fiber Arts Advent. And they included this pattern, with the Advent. They, collaborated with, I think it's something remembered. Again, I'll try to put that in there. If I can find it. Things remembered. She does pottery too. Anyway, the plan was to do one stripe. It's a stocking, to do one stripe per day. Okay. There were people that did it. Not many. I did not see many, but there were people that did it. But then she's since renamed the stocking, and it is up on Ravelry now, and she's doing a year-long make-along for this. It's really a gorgeous pattern, and this is my first color work, so I am much slower than a lot of people, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think my floats are looking pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think I'm pretty close to being done with this stripe. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. And I mean, look at how gorgeous these colors are. Yeah, I love Legacy Fiber Arts. So that will be getting some love. And so I definitely was planning the make along at the 11 Stitches membership for this month is color work. And each month, like, they have some patterns that we choose. And this month is the Sweetheart sock that Natalie actually just released today. And then there's a cowl. And I was thinking, I'm going to be good. I already have a colorwork project, and that's what I'm going to work on. I am going to work on it, but I don't think I'm going to be good. I just don't think I can do it. But I don't know if I'm going to start both the cowl and the socks, or yeah, I'm going to have both patterns. I already bought the cowl pattern, and then somebody's gifting me the Sweetheart socks pattern, so I'll have both. So we'll see. We will see. You can find out February 15th or around that day. Okay, so I think, I did want to say I did get one big purchase right at the end of the year, and that was I got a ChowGoo interchangeable red cable set that I am so excited about. I haven't even used it because I was like deep into my ranunculus and already had needles for that. So I'm really excited to start this. It has so many great ratings. I got so many recommendations for this from, a lot of knitters that I know. So that's always a huge bonus when you know that you're getting something great. Well, since this is a transitional video, I kind of feel like I'm pretty much done, which is way shorter than I thought it was going to be. I will say I have been reading a lot, and my favorite author right now is Sarah J. Maas. And if a lot of you that love to read and love to knit will probably know who she is. I think she's a fantastic author. But I just finished the Court of Thorns and Roses series. It's currently has 4 books, and they're all nice and chunky books. And it is almost impossible to put them down. There's so many good things. It is fantasy, and it can be spicy. So if you don't like those 2 things, then you wouldn't like them. But I'm not usually into spicy. And I'm only into fantasy if it's good. And I was willing to get through the spicy parts because the character development is great. The story development is great. There's a real thread of like human empowerment, and getting through really hard mental challenges and stuff in it as well. So it's, to me, quite multifaceted. Because when I say I've been reading a lot, I've been reading a lot. I had to go on a steroid course because of my asthma, and that causes me to not read. So I'm getting up between 3 and 4 in the morning. So yesterday, my daughter and I bought a poster of like 50 books that you really should read in your lifetime. And on one of them is To Kill a Mockingbird. And I woke up at 3 yesterday and I downloaded it and I read it all the way through. I cannot remember the last time I sat in one sitting, read a book, but I read from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. So that's a good chunk of time, 5 hours. And yeah, and I was like laying in bed crying during a couple of the scenes, which is ridiculous because I've read it at least 3 times before. Like, I know what's happening, but it's just so well written, and it just Harper Lee like shows the best of people and the worst of people in a way, in such a stark way, and like right next to each other. And it's not something that I have read quite that clearly anywhere else. So gets me every time. So yeah, that is what I've been doing mostly, is reading and knitting. We did get a game, a board game. I'm not a super board game person. Like, it has to really be the right one. So my husband is, like, he loves video games. He loves board games. He's just like game. And one of my boys is like that too. And then the other boy is more like me. Better be good. Better not be too long. So we got this one called Cuphead. Oh my gosh. It is so fun. I'm not going to go into huge detail about what it is, but it can keep you entertained for a long time. And it's from one person. You really could play it by yourself to 4 people. And I would say adults. Not that there's, I mean, let's say, you know, like 12 and up. Just because there's a lot to it. But it was so fun that I was going, want to play Cuphead? And I'm never that person. Like, I'm the person that my husband like is bribing me or begging to play a game. So highly endorse that one as well. So I hope that you've enjoyed this transitional video. My next video is, I'm planning on really having segments, maybe even trying to do some editing in tech so that you can see the segments change. I don't know, that sounds crazy. But I just want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Let my kitty in here, but she snuck in and she was knitting, and of course she was going to be way too distracting, but I wanted you to say hi. Can you see how cross-eyed she is? Okay.